G'day guys, and welcome to a look at this year 2019 Golden Slipper. I'll try and knock it over as quick as possible. I usually get a bit long-winded in these big previews, so I'll do my best not to do that. At the moment it's, Wednesday at 3 o'clock. It's a heavy 9, weather's looking pretty average up until about Friday. So probably, we're looking, and we're racing on a track that was raced as a heavy last week. The rail's going out 3 metres. You'd expect the track to be extremely rain affected, and we're talking probably getting, race is a little bit funny where you still want to sort of track up that inside bit and come out if you can, rather than having to come wide and circling, which was a little bit evident last week in the big races. So for me, I'm trying to target horses that are going to be saving a little bit of ground and then being able to get off in the straight, sort of 6, 7, 8 in the straight, which looks like quite a few runners will get that position in the Golden Slipper. It's just going to be extra hard for those horses drawn wide that are likely to get back to really want to get round and circle these horses, and the better the track is, the harder that'll be to do, I would imagine. So getting straight into it, those are the sort of horses I'll be looking to target. Heading down the page, yes. Get the betting up too while I'm here. Saturday. Bruce Hill. Pardon me. Race 7. Alright, so yes is around $8 chance. I think it was pre-post favourite before the barrier draw. 19 it comes up with, which is really makes life difficult for this horse in such a hotly contested, even race. This horse obviously won 2 races for Darren Weir, 1,200 metres at Flemington and Moonee Valley, $200,000 set weight, open 2-year-olds before being transferred to Chris Waller. Really nice trial there leading into the last start. This horse is obviously a bit of a get-back type, but never really looked like getting beat last start. The track was suiting its pattern, but it was still 70 days between runs and 1,200 metres, so you'd expect some natural fitness to be built on from that, and sort of improvement. That was a fast track and now goes to a heavy track, which is the problem. Also going to be 16 runners as opposed to just the 8 not runners there. So a much bigger task this time around. Yes is its 4th run. It's got a few positives. Obviously has won over 1,200. Does look to have a strong finish on it, but it looks pretty one-dimensional that it's going to get back and wide, and that to me makes its job all the more difficult, and probably one I'm happy to risk. Microphone, 5th run in its first prep, no wet track form. Gate 1 is a problem, and probably likely to be sort of 2, 3 back the inside. Just having a quick look at the map, it's likely to sort of get crossed in the ruck here with quite a few coming across it. It could easily end up sort of 2, 3 back the inside, and there are a number of horses in that spot that are quite strong, which will make this horse's task more difficult to find the better ground. It's likely to probably be one of the few that's forced to go back towards the inside, which is a less than ideal thing in such a big race. So Microphone faces a tough task also. I think it was pretty solidly dominant over Cosmic Force last time, and I was a little bit concerned that sort of Castelvecchio was a little bit plain there too. He might have been off his game, and Cosmic Force was sort of still building his fitness levels up, and then we saw what he did last week. So it's a 50-50 for me. He's going 21 days into this. It's not a big deal, but he is 5th run, first prep. He's had a long campaign. I'm not sure this was a target until maybe he won there at Flemington on the 16th of February, which kind of qualified him for the race. He obviously did run second in a lead up to the Blue Diamond as well. So he's obviously a good horse. I just think he's a big type that's drawn in an awkward gate, and I don't think he really wants a wet track, and I'm happy to bet around him because of those things. If he beats me, so be it. Time to Rain was nearly hailed the winner of the Golden Slipper off his effort 2 starts ago, and then last time out that was on a wet track second up after he'd sort of had a solid enough effort first up. Looked like his fitness gave out quickly to 1,200 metres last time, not quickly too. It was his third run back, but he was back on the inside there. He was just really playing gave up a little bit too weak, even though he wasn't kind of in the right spot there. And he really faces a task to overcome that run, even though he has been proven on tracks to a 7 in the past. So, you know, he gets through the ground. Maybe his effort was just so big 2 weeks prior. He was flat last start. So I'd say if he gets out the silly odds, he's sort of around the $20 mark. I probably wouldn't let him go around a loser, but I'd definitely not betting up on him or backing him with confidence. Number 4, Free of Doubt, and he heads forward time to rain, so he'll be in the speed battle. Free of Doubt also heads forward from a similar position. His form is quite good. He's a very green horse. He's 28 days since the Blue Diamond. I love getting them mixed up. He won on debut, then he went to Flemington, really green down the straight there, controlled the tempo and his best effort of his career was clearly last start when running third in the Blue Diamond. Big task here for a green horse. I can't come at him, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see him run well. He's obviously got a big motor. It's just a matter of putting it all together. He is with a pretty inexperienced trainer by the looks of it, which will make his task a little bit more difficult, but good luck to him and connections here. I see Aqua supporting to the horse too. Cosmic Force is the horse that looks to be peaking at the right time. His 5th run in as a 2-year-old. He's on the 7-day backup from the heavy track win last start, where he sat up on the speed control and really put them to the sword there late, winner by 7 lengths. Impossible to miss that. Impossible to miss how well he handled the conditions, how well he handled the track, which is the track and distance of this week's race. He's drawn ideally to sit right in behind them there, and gate 2 is a bit different to gate 1. It's a big difference. He just needs a little bit of luck getting sort of off and to the middle. He'll sort of try and find the right bum, I'm sure. Mark Zara, he's a very good jockey up from Melbourne. No knocks at all on this horse. He's proven at 1200, proven soft, peaking, and he runs well. I just think he's short enough. I see there is $6 with one place, and he's into as short as $4.40 with Sportsbet, which is really tight, but no surprise to see him well backed. He's got some really solid lead-up form. Dubious was in the worst ground last start. Where does he get to from the gate here? He's drawn wide. He's one that I'm willing to risk. I think he's facing a tough task from where he's going to get to, and he's one that really has a lot to overcome. I don't really feel the need to go too deep into his form, to be honest. Liars, 28 days since the Blue Diamond win. A little bit of a worry that it's an afterthought here. I know the horse was orbiting the paddock after that win, and they were putting it away for the spring, and then all of a sudden, after Tessort was dismissed from the race, it looked like they sort of grabbed her back out of the paddock and said, let's have a crack at the slipper. She has trialled well, and you know, her racing style is usually one like that of a horse that can continue on with its form. She gets back out of the ground and sort of works to the line. So I'm not worried about her from an over-the-top perspective. Where I'm worried about her is where she gets to from the run, and can she overcome some serious horses that are probably going to be in front of her. She's got a chance, but I think $11 is short enough. Lankenstar had a tough run last start, failed on the 7-day backup, faces a monstrous task. It's one I'm happy to let beat me. Tenley's the horse of interest. I should show a few of these replays, I guess. Or probably, let's just go back quickly through. So yes, comes out of the Todman leader.
Stand by for a break in the Todman Stakes.
Cut the audio because we don't really need it. So this is Vincere Valare, I believe, is it? Oh, so it's Bellevue Hill. She's in the fillies race. This is yes back here. Who else is in this race?
Followed by Spring Loaded on the outside of Time to Rain is improving along the inside. Back to second last is War Baron, and yes, taken back to last. Bellevue Hill is the front runner with Bivouac doing work.
So Bivouac's not in the race at this point. So yes. We've got Bellevue Hill who's not in the race. I wish it was. I think it'd nearly win. Bivouac who's an emergency as well. Dubious who we've sort of dismissed. So a little bit concerned about the form. Time to Rain fails. Yes gets back here. Tracks into the race ideally on the back of them. Sneaks in when they slow down and really just out sprints them late. Not much to see. Time to Rain getting back. here on the ground and not doing its best work. Bellevue Hill fights on well, Bivouac and Dubious. So I'm not really worried about that as a form line, just sort of kind of wanted to show it. Microphone the week prior, sorry, 2 weeks prior. So he's had every possible chance here. This is Cosmic Force sitting outside the leader, Castelvecchio back here. So Cosmic Force puts in a good effort, and this horse is pretty dominant over Cosmic Force, so you have to entertain him as a chance. I just think that, you know, Cosmic's had another run since, and looks like he definitely handles the soft going, whereas Microphone's a bit of a query on that. He's had every possible chance here. It's a matter of whether he can turn the table. So that's that lead up. We've seen Time to Reign, seen Cosmic Force, we've seen All Lies winning the Black Opal. Comes from back in the field here, right down the outside, and pretty dominant late over these horses. Free of debts, back the inside there, and Lincoln Star. So a little bit of a query over that form depth as a whole, whether that was its grand final and now it has to back up again and try and do another one off a little bit of a break, 28 day since it's been to the races. So not easy to line everything up here, and just happy to sort of let that form line go around as well. Then we get to Tenley, who I will spend a little bit more time on, and I'll try and show the replays as we go from now on. Sorry, that's my fault for forgetting a bit. So we'll first start in the race. This track at Kensington is really difficult to run on, especially from the inside. It's definitely not sit sprinters track, so this sort of win showed that this horse had above average ability. They do really walk and quicken, and Tenley's in behind here in the Godolphin colours. Single Blonde and Blazing Mist really haven't set the the track on fire, but it's just a matter of the tempo on the race, what they did in front and what this horse has overcome. So we'll see that they've got their revs up, and she gets out and sort of monsters them late, which is her thing. You see, change stride and her really goes through her gears. I don't think she even hit a top there. Then she came back to Randwick, got a fast tempo here. She's out the back. This is before they put the blinkers on this day, pardon me, but it was still only 1,100 metres off an 86-day break. And again, it's not what she does as she sort of builds up, it's what she does once the revs are really high, and that's displayed there, what she does through the line. Then last start, she had a few things go her way. She's back again, which is her pattern, obviously, in the white cap. Found the right backside in Anahid, who's a horse I will spend a bit of time on also. So it's interesting just to take note that Anahid's here, 3 wide, no cover. Tenley finds its back. They do scoot along in even tempo, so they're not going slow. This was on a fast track, so Anahid sits wide, pushed wider. Tenley gets its back, carries it everywhere you want it to carry. So to the 300 metre mark, she's sort of sucked off the back of Anahid. She takes a while to wind up. Ventura Volare this time is this horse, and this is Exhilarates. So and then Tenley's quite dominant late again. So for me, Exhilarates can improve fitness-wise. We'll talk about it. Ventura Volare probably can improve a little bit, and Anahid certainly had a tough run off the back up there. So these horses have all got a bit of something about them to say that I think this is probably the most interesting lead-up for me, which is the Magic Night, I believe. Tenley's just got those gears, which you love. She's got a bit of Autumn Sunner about her for mine, and she's drawn ideally just to need a bit of luck at the right time. But McDonald will have choices of bums to follow. I just hope he doesn't get way too far back, and that's the query for me overall in the race. Pin second, and the other thing I want to sort of say about her, I get worried about sharp sit sprinters on this sort of ground. It's very rare that you see a horse like Cosmic Force did the other day really turn it on acceleration wise on a wet track. This horse, I love that it sort of has a little bit of a turn of foot, but then it's just so good the way it builds through its gears and runs through the line every time. So those sort of horses, your sort of Winksy sort of types, your Autumn Suns, they tend to get through the ground a lot more than your basic sit spreaders. Next horse is Pinsec, comes from the Blue Diamond, Black Opal. I always get them wrong. They drive me insane. So my problem with this race, the time was only fair. Everything was kind of put on for this horse here. So you had McLaren out in front. You can see he's going like a bit of a lawnmower. He's had enough. The other horse in the race that we backed was, All Cylinders, who was very, had everything against it. Missed the kick, out wide, working hard throughout. This horse just sort of smoked its pipe back on the fence. They didn't go too quick, which sort of helped because from a fitness perspective, it was first up. Sort of say this is Pinsec back here. So you've got Rome, who I think is a little bit limited. The horse we just talked about. Sorry, my brain isn't fried here. All Cylinders, too many horses to try and remember. All Cylinders out wide. And Rome in the middle. McLaren, who's just, I'm just forgiving him his whole preparation. So you're saying this horse isn't here, this horse is a little bit limited, this horse had everything against, this horse has to win is kind of what I'm saying. And even though it was quite dominant late, the sections aren't overly impressive, and I think it was completely flattered by sort of everything that happened. So it's a horse on the up, it can certainly improve, it certainly needs to, and today might not be its day. So we move on from it for mine. I think it's got everything against it. It's drawn nicely. It's a place chance for sure, but I think there's other horses that I want to back to beat it. Anaheed's next horse in the betting, in the market, in the rundown. Forgotten horse for mine of the whole race. I sort of want to go back through. So it won on a heavy track on debut. It was really impressive here. Sat on the speed. I think it was Everest Day. This is it here in the Sheik's colours, sat right up 33 wide, which is not a bad place to be this day, but important to note that how well she lets down on a heavy surface, and this was a genuinely heavy surface, so it's not going to get wetter than this, I wouldn't imagine. She ran around a bit, which was fine, but really put him to the sword, and she was strong through the line. Went down to Melbourne and ran first up at Caulfield there, had a little issue, totally forgiving of that run, behind Catch Me at stablemate, and this is the sort of where the impressive stuff starts for mine. Went 5 weeks between runs. It was reported that she'd only had very minimal work between there. So for me, it's really difficult for a horse to win 1,000 to 1,200. Very difficult for a 2-year-old to win 1,000 to 1,200, and for a horse to win off 1,000 to 1,200 with a setback and be able to put them away like she does here was really impressive. So the hardest position to sit in a race quite often is outside the leader. She's got the ability to do that, absorb pressure, quicken, and then hold them at bay, which is what she does here. So this may not be the deepest race in the world, but for me, what she did was pretty special, and she's not exactly weak on the line either. So off that effort, which would have been very taxing for the horse, they then backed her up again because they were keen to get another run into her before the slipper the next week, and that's the run we saw behind Tenley, where she sat wide. She was right there to the 200, and she's only got beaten 2.25. She runs 1,200. She loves the wet. She's drawn ideally. She's got speed. She can take a sit. She can quicken. She's got everything. And $21, sort of $6 the place, is certainly my main play for the race here, or my suggested play. Kiyomichi was big odds last week in the lead up. Did start $5 behind Anaheed, which was and only got beaten 2.6 there, so I'm not underestimating her. What the tactics they use on her here will be interesting. She's obviously drawn horrifically. They let her run last start, and that worked out well, assuming they'll do something similar here, and she's a knockout chance, and 40 to 1, I'm definitely not knocking her. Catch Me, I can't have it all. Her lead-ups have been only average, and I didn't really like her trial the other day. I think she's sort of one for next prep. Ventura Valare is another one I'd be throwing in. Exotics at 50s, but I'd be expecting her to be a length or two short of these. I have seen her in that replay behind Tenley as well. She did beat home Anaheed there, but I think Anaheed's got all the upside, and the wet track's much more in her favour. But I can see her running a really honest race from that wide draw. Exhilarate's another one I don't want to knock at 20 to 1, but she's certainly got a task from that gate. I thought she really needed to draw soft and find the right backsides. I'd expect her to nearly be dropped out and ridden for luck here, and she's knockout chance at 20 to 1 from that perspective. One you could throw in the quaddies, but hard to really find. And then you've got Loving Gabby, who's also drawn wide. Trial was okay since the blue, Mr. Blue Diamond. I ran in the Blue Diamond off the debut win. So I went 1,000 to 12 there, had no luck at all, only beaten 2. Another thing that sort of detracts from that form a little bit, that there were some unlucky runners behind. Obviously a really talented horse. Is this all a bit quick? Ocean Murphy comes over to ride it. Where she gets to in the run is really a big query. I expect her to get too far back and struggle a touch. So for me, she's another one that I put in the really needs all things to go her way basket. Clearly the top 3 for me are Cosmic Force. Well, in order, Tenley, Anaheed, Cosmic Force. I think Cosmic Force I'm only putting third pick just because it's a bit short. It's into $4.60 now, which is even more incredible really. But, you know, certainly ticks a lot of boxes. I think they're the ones that tick the most boxes. Tenley's just going to get a little bit back, but will be strong in getting through the gears. Anaheed's going to be up there, and I think she's clearly the best value in the race. You know, they've been betting $26, $34 all week. It's been quite incredible, really, considering this horse's record. But there's no real weaknesses to this whole field. I did read a tweet that was quite interesting, saying, you know, you've got Breeders' Classic winners all the way through Black Opal, Blue Diamond, Magic Millions, every lead up you can possibly have, you know, Todman winners, Pago, every winner of every major 2-year-old race just about is in this field, which is just incredible. It's a great race. I think it's just a betting race. Like Tenley $6 is probably a price I could take. It might get out of touch with the money for this Cosmic Force. I'm definitely backing Anaheed because I think $6 plus, I think it was $7.50 not long ago, the place is a great bet. And, you know, like a 1 by 3 or 1 by 4, so one every dollar you have the win, $3 or $4 the place, I think is probably the play with her. And making sure Tenley's a winner. I'll probably let Cosmic Force go around and lose it simply because he's short enough at $4.60 now. But he's got a good winning chance. And then I'm probably throwing a few more in the quaddie. Probably the likes of Exhilarates and Loving Gabby, if they had a lot of luck from their gates, can get in the money. So there's a quick look through it. I'll also do a really quick look for those who don't want a 20-minute look at the race. But hopefully the weather's fine on the day and everyone gets their chance. Thanks, guys.